Imagine standing outside an Apple store at sunrise. The street is still quiet, coffee cups steaming in people's hands. Some have been waiting all night. Not for food, not for emergency supplies, for a phone. And every year, the same scene repeats itself. A slightly thinner design, a better camera, a new color, a feature most people will barely use. Yet millions still upgrade. Which raises a strange question. Why does Apple keep releasing new iPhones so often? Because the truth is, Apple isn't really selling phones anymore. Not in the way most people think. What looks like a yearly product launch is actually something much bigger. A carefully maintained cycle, almost like a heartbeat. To understand this, picture a giant spinning wheel. At the center is the iPhone, but attached to that wheel are apps, subscriptions, accessories, cloud storage, watches, laptops, music, payment systems, and millions of daily habits. The phone is not the entire machine. It's the anchor holding everything together. And Apple knows something very important. If the wheel ever slows down, the entire ecosystem starts losing momentum. So every September, the company does something fascinating. It creates movement, even when the changes are small. Because psychologically, people don't upgrade only for technology, they upgrade for momentum. For the feeling of staying current, of not falling behind, and Apple has mastered that emotion better than almost any company in history. Notice how the launches are presented, not like engineering conferences, like cinematic events, dark rooms, slow music, carefully lit devices rotating in silence. Everything feels important, precise. Intentional, the phone becomes more than an object. It becomes a symbol of progress, even if last year's phone still works perfectly. But here's the deeper layer. Apple also releases new iPhones because modern businesses depend on predictable growth. Investors expect it. Factories depend on it. App developers depend on it. Accessory companies depend on it. An entire global system moves with those releases. And that changes the purpose of innovation itself. Sometimes innovation is no longer about creating something completely new. It's about giving the system enough fuel to keep moving forward. One better camera, a faster chip, a slightly brighter screen. Just enough. This leads to something unexpected. The yearly iPhone release is not really a technology story. It's a human behavior story. Because people adapt incredibly fast. Features that once felt magical become normal within weeks. Face ID, portrait mode, wireless charging. At one point these felt futuristic. Now they feel ordinary. And once something becomes normal, companies must create the next feeling, the next reason to care, the next moment of excitement. Otherwise, attention disappears. And in today's world, attention is everything. That's why Apple rarely sells specifications alone. It sells experiences. Memories captured sharper, videos that feel cinematic, a lifestyle that feels smoother and more connected. The product enters daily life quietly, checking directions, sending messages, paying for coffee, capturing birthdays, tiny moments repeated thousands of times until the device feels less like technology and more like an extension of routine. And routines are incredibly powerful because once a habit becomes emotionally comfortable, leaving it feels uncomfortable. That's the real engine behind the yearly iPhone cycle. Not just innovation, continuity, familiarity, momentum, the feeling that the future is arriving again, even if it looks a lot like last year. And maybe that's the most fascinating part of all. The new iPhone is rarely about replacing an old phone. It's about refreshing a feeling that progress is still happening, that the world is still moving forward, one launch event at a time. So the next time a new iPhone appears, and millions immediately start talking about it, remember this. You're not just watching a tech release. You're watching one of the most powerful consumer systems ever created, quietly turning once again. If you enjoyed this kind of deep dive, subscribe for more stories hiding inside everyday things.